It is the Riot Podcast. This is the Thursday, April 13th edition of the show. Isaiah, in the show today, we talked about getting a butt tattoo.
Yeah.
What would we have to offer you to get a tattoo on your butt?
A
It would have to
lifetime
be-
supply of what?
I don't know if I could do a lifetime supply of something. I'd rather do a wager.
A wager?
A wager, like have that be like the consequence, you know?
Oh.
So where like I
okay.
bet on something because one of my friends
You'd have
did
to be
that.
real confident.
Yeah, one of my friends did that. He ended up getting a butt tattoo.
Oh, yeah?
Because he wagered a couple years back. It was the year that, if you remember, the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. When Carson Wentz got hurt, one of his best friends was a really big Eagles fan. And he said, there's no way you guys can win the Super Bowl with your backup quarterback. And then they wagered a butt tattoo. And they won the Super Bowl with the backup quarterback.
And he actually
followed through like a real man.
That's crazy. Usually
Yep.
when people make those kind of bets, it's like everybody understands. Like if the crazy 1,000,000-to-1 shot happens.
Yeah.
Which that wasn't 1,000,000-to-1, but like the crazy thing
it was
happens.
pretty close.
Yeah, but usually that's understood. They're like, no, we were just fooling around.
We're just joking with you.
Yeah.
Well, when you hear about the Omaha Steaks one, they're offering stuff for a butt tattoo. It's the whole side. It's one cheek.
One
so like,
entire cheek.
That's a lot. Then if it was a friendly wager with friends, I think you could get away with just like something smaller.
Something smaller, yeah.
And so this you have to decide if it's worth it.
Free Omaha steaks for a whole butt side.
Free hamburgers for life.
Omaha hamburgers.
And they're not specifically saying like is that you get one package of hamburgers every week for the rest of your life. Like they haven't said what
They
it
haven't
is.
gotten the details.
Or
but-
is it like gift cards and you have to buy them with the gift cards?
Yeah,
and
they
then,
give
Still, though,
you the amount.
I'd have to try them first to see if I like them, have a good taste for them.
I mean, they're pretty
Tattoos or,
well renowned.
Yeah, the tattoo. Yeah, I didn't try the tattoo on first, and then I can decide if I like it or not. No, the Omaha hamburgers because I don't like all. If I'm gonna get something like that for life, then I need to know I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And you can never become a vegetarian or vegan at that point. 'cause you're
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
I can't because I have an order coming.
Yes, unfortunately. We also talked about more ChatGPT possibly affecting your upcoming wedding, if you would so like.
If you have a important speech coming up or something that you need help, this is another unique way that maybe this program can help.
If you log into ChatGPT, one of it gives you examples of questions you can ask it, and one of them is come up with some creative ideas for a 10-year-old's birthday party or whatever. So you see that and you think that it could definitely help you plan a wedding, right?
Yeah, sure.
So do you think wedding planners are getting real nervous?
I think everything's going to be automated one day.
You think everybody's getting real nervous?
Everybody will get real nervous. We should be nervous.
You think artificial intelligence will be the end of humanity on Earth?
No, but it'll just change it.
You think it'll change it a lot?
Because again, I'm probably more like it won't overthrow us. It'll just be so convenient that that's how everybody does things. So yeah, it won't have the same amount of heart, but it'll be close enough and it's easier.
Have you ever thought about this? What if everything is AI already?
Oh.
What if it's like the Fermi paradox kind of thing where
sure.
if there must be aliens out there? It's the same thing with like AI. It could be like, what if AI was invented and is so advanced that we're now thinking we're living life, but we're simulated.
You're saying that we're robots? Is that what you're saying?
We could, yeah, we're
in
all,
the thing.
We just don't even understand.
We're in.
But then what if we could come
the
up
Matrix.
with an AI that could defeat the AI that's created us?
You know what, Hudson? I'm
we
going to let
also
you
talked
work on that.
about. We also talked about on the podcast. We made our way down to if your significant other goes to a family event, do you have to go? And if you do have to go, why do you have to go?
We proposed some interesting questions. So as always, if you have any thing you want to add to it, you're definitely welcome to text that in to 877-RadioU and put that as for the podcast.
Have you guys ever gotten in trouble for not going to something? Nikki, you for sure have, haven't you?
Yeah. When I was younger, yes. I will not go into details, but there was a person or some family members, because you know how you have different sections of family members?
Yeah.
And no offense, but some sections are more important than others because you're more close to them.
Yes.
And I just remember there was one section that was just like, nah, I never went.
Yeah.
And I just remember it was brought up like, hey, you're going to have to give a little here.
Give us a little
and
more.
go every so often. But it wasn't a bad thing.
Hudson?
I don't think I ever got in trouble for missing something.
You never had the parents talk to you about your choices with
About
this?
like being around more,
Yeah.
showing face.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't
Being
think
a-
Look
so.
at this good little boy.
Yeah.
Good member of the family.
I do remember it was towards the end of the first girl I dated where one of the things that was towards the end was like fighting over Thanksgiving and who would, who was going where or whatever.
That's when you ended it. You're like, well,
said
this just
it-
isn't going to work,
If
I
you're
don't
not
think.
coming with me, then this is over.
This is over.
Yeah.
Well, problem solved,
That's right,
I
that's
mean,
right.
you go to then not to each other's place.
I think everyone's happier now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, enjoy the podcast. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching and listening to it. If you want to check out our food fright from this morning, we tested the Apple Jacks Pop-Tarts and the banana bread ones. So if you want to see what that's like on video, go to the previous video and audio. It should, I don't know if it's included or not, but you can find it.
And we'll catch you next time.
All right.
See you guys.
Your For You page would be a lot more fun if it had Hudson, Nikki, and Isaiah. Follow at RadioU Official on TikTok. The Riot. Radio U.
Would you like to hear what has been officially named the worst food dish in the world?
Oh, in the world? Yeah,
Yeah.
which one? Let's see if we eat it.
Oh, we definitely don't. I can't imagine either of us ever getting near something like this. It's something called indigirka salad,
Oh,
and it is a fish dish from Siberian Russia. What it is,
they say it's a simple dish.
it is. It's simple. It's basically frozen fish. The fish is actually it's chopped up, but the fish is frozen when you eat it, and you're supposed to pair it with like lemons and vodka, of course, because it's Siberian Russia, and it's supposed to just go beautifully together.
They
But
say it's diced whitefish, broad whitefish, Elma, muskin with onions and salt and oil and pepper.
Nah, it sounds pretty awful, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially like, is it cooked fish or just frozen right away?
I think it's just frozen.
Oh, that's a combination. No wonder the vodka's in
I
there.
mean, everything is frozen, though, because it's Siberian Russia where the temperature can get down to 70 degrees Celsius.
well, you can take a
negative 70
moment
degrees
to
Celsius.
probably can't thaw it out then at that point.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they must be able to start fires there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was named the worst dish in the world. Now that's by a website called Taste Atlas.
Yeah.
Where people around the world, when they try different dishes or whatever internationally, they'll rank them, give them ratings and whatever. And so the list is constantly updating. So the indigirka salad hit like an all-time low.
Which people were mad about because they say, okay, fine. If you want to pick like some sort of manufactured dish as like the worst in the world, that's great. But they say you shouldn't pick a cultural delicacy where for that culture, this is like the top thing to have.
Right.
So they said it's probably not right that they
that's-
went and picked that. But a lot of times the delicacies are the most different.
Yeah, and I think I bet you they would not be so excited to eat their, what is it called, indigirka salad, if they could have some McDonald's.
Oh, I know, right? You're like suddenly it really shows the
Yeah,
flaws
I actually
in the
see
indigirka.
the error in my ways. You're right. This indigirka salad is no good compared to other stuff. But it's crazy to look at the rest of the list. Like the score for that has gone up. But this one, that's now competing for the top spot of worst dish in the world. I've actually heard about this. Is hakarl, which is a shark dish from Iceland.
Oh, that's the one that's like buried in the water or whatever forever, and it's foul.
It's cured shark flesh, usually Greenland shark or other sleeper sharks. It's fermented for up to 3 months. Fermented fish meat, fermented shark meat.
Well, it's a delicacy again.
Yeah, that's right. And I've seen people go to Iceland, and that's a thing you have to try. But I don't see a lot of people walking away going, "I'm glad I tried it." Okay, what is the worst food that you can think of that you've had?
Oh, I need a moment to think about that.
You do?
Yeah, I mean,
you've eaten a lot of bad food?
no, that's the thing. Like, I don't think anything I've eaten is bad enough. So what would be bad?
I don't think I've had anything bad enough to compare on this list, although it is funny.
We've had bad cooking.
If you scroll through, you do get to some regional United States different pizzas and stuff, which is, that's a little sad. And it doesn't feel like that should be in the conversation at all with cured fish.
Listen,
But
if what you like to eat is something that's has to ferment for quite some time, then it's just that's the taste you like.
I was also seeing another one that's like a Swedish dish. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but it's fermented fish where it's put in a can and then the can will bulge. And then as soon as you open the can, everybody can smell it. So you have to eat it outside, and they ban it on airplanes and
That's
stuff like that.
That's a very common YouTube challenge one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's super bad. So people just order the can.
You think you could do it?
Not if it has a really bad smell. I think that would make it very hard to do the challenge.
I did pledge in a way that I think I could eat anything for the show.
Yeah.
I'd at least try, but some of these fermented fish things, I think that'd be really tough.
Well, congratulations, though, to the winner of the most disgusting fish dish in the world.
And by the way, the worst thing that I can think of that I've ever eaten is a chopped up carrot salad. It's just shredded carrots and raisins and like some kind of sauce. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. I'd rather try the fermented fish.
They bury it in a dish, and it's been there for months.
And a casserole dish at a potluck.
Somehow yours does not compare to the others.
Hey, they're already eating anyways. Might as well do it on the show. The Riot with Nikki and Hudson. Radio U.
Nikki, you're not much of a horror movie fan, are you?
No, not too much.
No, me neither.
I didn't grow up watching them, which maybe you either do, and then you're really desensitized to them, or you don't grow up watching it now, like, I just can't handle it.
Yeah, or maybe you grew up watching them for a little bit and they scar you for life.
Yeah, and you can't.
Is another option.
You can't. You're just always so anxious about it.
Yeah, but I've seen a lot of talk about horror movies. I know next week is a new Evil Dead movie, and then I've seen already a lot of people talking about a movie that doesn't come out till July, but it's the new A24 horror movie Talk to Me that apparently it's gonna mess you up when that comes out. But when thinking about horror movies, something that recently dawned on me is like, I don't think there's that many people that watch horror movies all by themselves.
Sure.
Like most people, maybe you like horror movies.
That's their fun evening in.
Yeah, you don't just chill out and pop on a horror movie, and if you do, I don't know. I feel like that says something. Like you
crime show, yes.
Yeah.
Horror movie, no.
Right. And when you even crazier would be, can you picture somebody going to a haunted house all by themselves? Like that'd be crazy behavior. You need somebody else if you're gonna watch a horror movie or you're gonna do a haunted house. Like you've got to have somebody else with you because it makes it not feel as scary. Even though the exact same thing is playing out, it doesn't feel as scary.
And maybe you're always talked into it.
Yeah, that's right. That could be part of it too. And I was thinking, as we go through life that's full of horrors. The world is full of them. You got to have somebody. You don't want to go through that all alone, go through all the horrors of life, and there are many of them, which is why it's important to have Jesus. I think God can be that person you hold on to that's by your side through all the horrors of life, because you're not going to stop them from coming. Whether you like horror movies or not, there's going to be a lot of terrible stuff that happens in life. It just comes along. But when you know you've got God there to protect you, to go through it with you, to deal with it with you, it makes it a whole lot easier.
Especially when you're the one closing your eyes and then they can be the one that's looking out. The brave one to get you out.
Yep, and then you can go, I wasn't crying the whole time.
No, it was fine.
Yeah, I saw that thing. Yeah, it was scary.
So you just hold on for your life.
It had big teeth, didn't it? So that it is true. If you want to know more about that, if you're ready to have someone by your side 100% of the time for everything you have to deal with, God is that. And you can talk to him anytime. Just say, hey, Jesus, I need that. I need some support. I need some help. I'm going through a lot. I want to be protected. And he'll do it for you. RadioU.com/free gift.
The words too expensive aren't in Nikki's vocabulary. This is The Riot. Radio U.
But our top story today comes to us from HBO Max.
Oh, did everybody get the email yesterday?
I got the email.
Isaiah, did you get the email?
I ain't got the max.
You didn't get,
Oh, that's because you probably never subscribed.
Yep.
Isaiah's maxed out. But see if this all changes your mind, Isaiah, about the whole HBO Max situation. Because if you missed it, the announcement was that we now have a date for when HBO Max will cease to exist and Max will come into being, which will be a combo of all the stuff that was already on HBO Max that they haven't gotten rid of, and Discovery Plus, and they're putting it all together and still, for now, charging the same price, which was something that I was happy to see. And they've also, as part of the announcement, announced all kinds of new stuff that they're going to be bringing to HBO.
That's why they were announcing all the shows.
Yeah, it was all a combined thing. But yeah, so all the stuff that's coming to Max. I believe the date was May 23rd is when that will be. I know it was in May, but I don't have it right here in front of me. But here, let me go through some of the new stuff and see if it convinces you that Max might be for you coming up next month. First of all, the big one, Harry Potter.
Oh, they're doing a show.
Series. Yeah. And this is a big undertaking. They say that they called it a decade-long series, which will cover one book per season. That's a big commitment.
That's a large amount.
That sounds like the Lord of the Rings stuff on Amazon, where they're doing it no matter whether people enjoy it or not.
Meaning like they're planning to be doing the TV show in the long run.
Yeah, that's right. And no low ratings will stop them. So that's that. They also, and I think it's important to point out too, that J.K. Rowling is involved. She will be definitely, it sounds like, very involved in the making of that show. Okay. Also, Game of Thrones spinoff. Another prequel that's set 100 years before the actual Game of Thrones. It's called...
I thought that was House of Dragon. It's like, wait a minute, how early are we going now?
Yeah, we're going...
Farther, Nikki, farther.
There's no limit to how far in the past they can go.
It's like before the dragons were even there.
Yeah, this one is called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight. If a name like that doesn't draw you in, I don't know what will.
The Hedge Knight.
The Hedge Knight. It's going to be great. They also announced a spinoff of The Big Bang Theory, which they won't tell anything else about that. So maybe old Sheldon, perhaps? Older.
Middle-aged Sheldon? We can't be sure.
Younger Sheldon?
Mm-hmm.
Baby Sheldon?
The young Sheldon.
Baby Sheldon?
Baby Sheldon.
Sheldon's parents before he was born? I don't know. And I mean, that's just scratching the surface. They did put out, and I haven't gotten to watch it yet, they have a trailer for the Penguin show, and that's Penguin like Penguin from the Batman.
Oh, sure.
The Colin Farrell
Thanks
Penguin.
for saying that, because for 1 minute I was like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Some
Penguin show.
Documentary. What are we doing?
Some Discovery Plus whatnot. All right.
Yeah. No, yeah. That is probably the top interest to me, is what that Penguin show will be, because Colin Farrell as the Penguin in the Batman movie last year
would be good.
That was excellent.
So they also said for Max, they'll be doing some new stuff with True Detective, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Night Country, The Gremlins, and yes, the Penguin show.
Those ones are all throwaways.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nobody knows those ones.
I don't know about the Gremlins animated series.
Yeah.
That was questionable.
But
although I love the
it.
movie. So have we convinced you?
Me personally?
Yeah.
No.
Have we convinced your parents?
I don't think so. None of that jazz sounded too...
Your ex-girlfriend.
No, none of that stuff sounded super thrilling to me.
You love Harry Potter.
I love Harry Potter. I watched a bunch of Harry Potter movies over the weekend. I know that the new Harry Potter, I'm going to hate it just because they're remaking it. It doesn't matter like what they do. It could be great.
Everybody always messes it up.
Yeah, there's going to be like a new Harry Potter kid who's like 9 years old. I'm going to hate him. And he can't do anything about it. There's no way. The Game of Thrones stuff, I've never seen Game of Thrones, but I know there's lots of people that love Game of Thrones, so that'll be really exciting for them, and they just want as much content as possible. And then The Big Bang Theory, I like the show, but not enough to buy HBO Max.
Hey, Max, I don't think you would have gotten him anyways.
Yeah, no matter what they announced. But I'm excited just to have the option to have the Discovery Plus stuff. Although I imagine if you're a Discovery Plus person, you don't really care about if you only had that, you're not like, ooh, Succession now. I don't think that really is going to do much for you. But for me, some of the Discovery Plus stuff, I'll be interested to throw on that garbage.
Who has Discovery Plus? That's my question.
You
have Discovery Plus?
I do, and I love it. I watch it. It's awful.
Nikki, you have too much free time. I don't know how you're squeezing in all these to be able to justify that.
It's not. I just don't watch anything else.
I mean, how can you not be excited about House Hunters? Come on.
Yes, you're right. I forgot.
I watch that too.
That's all the midday TV shows that I used to watch when I was younger, all on Discovery Plus.
It's garbage TV. It's like, I'll throw this on and not really pay attention. It'll be great.
But it's so bad because like garbage TV makes you seem like, well, my life is okay now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
We're finally getting close to the coronation of King Charles III That'll be on May 6th is the date for that. And there will be one notable person that will not be attending.
Us.
True.
We are notable. We are notable.
We did not get the clearance to go over there to cover it for you guys. I'm very sorry.
Unfortunately. But also joining us and not attending will be Meghan Markle herself.
Oh, they decided?
Yeah, so Prince Harry is going to go, but she's leaving Meghan behind. She's going to be taking care of their 2 children, Archie and Lilibet,
Which
in
feels like
California.
something you say.
Yeah, how old are these children?
And if you're that famous, like, there's probably people.
But that is what people sometimes, one of the beauties of having children is they say that you can use them as an excuse to get out of stuff you don't want to go to.
Oh, you can even use your dog.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't possibly travel right now.
I don't know if that would work for the coronation, though. But kids.
Kids is better.
But this is crazy, though. Archie, it's his birthday. On the same, now that's just poor scheduling on the part of the king. Why would he do that?
What are they saying by
to
doing
his
this?
grandson? He just doesn't care. And now his father has to miss the birthday party because he's got to go to some king coronation. But what does it mean? What do you think? When somebody misses out on a family function, like going to a significant other's family function thing, is that a sign of anything? You think?
Well, I think that is a sign on this one, but you mean just like for everyday people?
Yeah, but I mean, in this case, it clearly seems like a sign that Meghan doesn't like the family.
Yes,
which we don't need that sign. We've gotten that's coming through loud and clear for this. But like, oftentimes it would mean the opposite, right? It would mean there could be an issue in the relationship between the two, and so they don't want to go do something together, or they have to be with one of the other's family.
I remember when I was younger, it was more like I used to you stagger things. Does anybody else stagger family obligations?
You go to some, don't go to others.
You don't go to all of them because you don't want to be like horrible because you never go, but you also don't go to literally everything. So you just try to balance it out.
You set that precedent.
Yeah, you're just like every other.
Ready? How about this? We'll just go down the line. We'll start at Thanksgiving. Do you have to be there?
Oh, that's a better one, but I don't think
Nikki
so.
Nikki says no.
I don't think so.
On Thanksgiving. Hudson, thoughts on Thanksgiving?
I think
it's a family get together. Everybody's there.
So, like, if my wife, all the family, all of her family,
her uncles, her aunts.
I mean, I gotta be there.
You gotta
right?
be there, right? How about Christmas? Christmas, you gotta be there, right?
Of course.
What about Easter?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
They're doing like there's Easter baskets. Your little cousins, they're like out there getting the eggs and whatnot.
It's also really awkward when it's just one going and not the other. That's when it seems like someone doesn't like each other.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we didn't know Meghan hated the king or whatever, like just doesn't like the royal family, it would be weird. It would be like, oh, is there a problem with their marriage or whatever? But in this case, we know why she's really not going. But I don't know. It's so tough though when you do, like, once the relationship gets real serious, then both families sometimes will have stuff on those big holidays.
Oh, yeah,
and then what do you do?
You can't. I don't think there's a certain point in your relationship when you don't split up anymore and go to each of them.
Yeah.
I think you go together. You either pick one side or the other. If you split up, I think it starts to get weird.
And then
it is.
Then
and
you
that's
change
not
out
fair.
holidays.
Yeah, exactly. It's like last year we did Christmas with my mom. Next year we can do it with your mom. Whatever, however you do it. Or if you split up, if you're close enough to where you can split up the day in half, where you can do mornings over here and afternoons over there. But you can't be separating. I think that's odd.
Yeah. And it's actually, when you think about it, it's not that far into the relationship where it's super weird for both of you to not go to one thing. But the worst is having to go to both.
Oh yeah. In the mornings you're over here doing the Easter Bunny thing, and then in the afternoon you're over here doing the Easter Bunny thing. There's a lot. There's a lot going on.
You go like Thanksgiving is the top one. You go to one Thanksgiving, and then you have to go to the other, and it's all leftovers already and stuff. And it's just like, why am I even doing this? I'm full already, but I still have to take a plate out of obligation.
The first time Hudson's complained about Thanksgiving food.
That's right.
And I had a friend, it's not me, even though everybody always says that, but I had a friend who hated it because then their whole family dynamic made it also, it wasn't just you couldn't split up, you had to do a morning and afternoon, but it was also a hierarchy of morning, everybody wanted that spot. So then if you picked the other people as the afternoon, everybody was mad because they were the second one.
That's right.
And no
I
one
can
ever
totally
ate
see
the
that.
same. It was just, it's
That
always
is
a thing.
true. That's how it goes too. Same thing with like Christmas. Like there's people who want to do it like first thing in the morning, and so if you go over to one family, then the other family's waiting. It's just stressful no matter what.
Yeah,
so
that is one of the
never win.
The difficulties of a relationship. I'll tell you what though, talking not family functions, but just can you imagine like the best relationship would be where you could just be like, hey, or like your wife goes, hey, we're gonna go do this gathering with several friends. Would you like to come? And you could just go, no.
Actually, no, I'm
Either
good.
side, because both sides, I think, feel the obligation.
No.
It's hard to say no.
Tell your
It's
dad I
basically
said
impossible.
hello.
It's not what they do. What you do is the best, most ultimate is when someone's under the weather.
Yes.
And you
Not
don't
feeling
have to
well.
go.
Feeling good today.
And no one is mad at
But
you.
usually that sounds like an excuse for you guys aren't getting along.
Yeah.
That's true. Then you're fighting. All right, just go to the parties.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
It was another round of play-in games, although these ones are really play-out games because so we had the first two play-in games on Tuesday night. Those were win and you're into the playoffs games.
Okay.
The ones last night were lose and you're done games. And then the winners of the games last night play the losers of the games from Tuesday night tomorrow. So the first game was the Bulls and the Raptors. And if you tuned in, you would have heard something that sounds a bit like this.
And here's the voice you're hearing when Raptors shoot. She's screaming.
That's her scream?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a shriek.
That
was a shriek.
That's a shriek. That's exactly right. That is.
Wow, can you imagine being in the seats next to her?
I would
gosh.
literally have her kicked out.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's too much. If you were anybody else, you would have been kicked out.
So
Yeah.
you can understand that's DeMar DeRozan. He's a star player, probably one of the best players on the Bulls. That's his daughter.
Aw.
And she was screaming every time that the Raptors would shoot a free throw.
Yeah.
So you can understand why they missed 12 of their 24 free throws, which rarely happens in the NBA. That hardly, like, you don't shoot 50% for your free throws in the NBA, but so you got to chalk it up to her. And that was enough to get the Bulls the win. They've advanced. They got a shot against the Heat tomorrow night to make it into the playoffs.
So the player plays for the Bulls. It was his
Yeah.
daughter. And then anytime the Raptors were able to shoot a free
Free throw,
Free
yes.
throw, yeah.
then
She was screaming.
and then that would scare the person throwing off.
I guess.
Yeah.
Throw
and
off
then they
the
wouldn't
shooter.
get it, huh? Well,
Man.
she's going to every game.
Yeah.
She's got to be. She's the best player on their team. But it's kind of equivalent to like shooting a free throw. It's kind of muscle memory, but it also does require a bit of focus.
Yeah.
And so to have that would definitely throw you off.
Can we hear the shriek one more time?
Yeah, you want to hear?
I just want to hear it one more time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now that we know
Voice
where
you're
it's coming
hearing
in.
when Raptors shoot. She's screaming.
It's awful.
I would lose my mind if I was near
I
her.
don't know if I can continue on with the show. It's throwing my focus off.
That's too much.
Yeah, well, great job by her. And yeah, they've got to put her right near the opposing team's basket for the fourth quarter of every game the Bulls get to play the rest of the year. That's an impressive secret weapon.
Can you imagine paying thousands of dollars for a ticket?
Yeah.
I mean, because you know that she's the daughter of the best player on the team.
Sure.
That means she has amazing seats.
Yeah.
She's down in the bottom bowl. Imagine paying thousands of dollars for a playoff ticket and getting sat next to her.
It'd be
I mean, I
the
would
worst.
be furious.
You think we're going to see copycats of this now?
Oh, the shrieking.
Because other players have to have, she's 9 years old, they have to have 9-year-old daughters who can do the same thing, right?
Yeah, and again, if you were not the daughter of a player, you would have been out the first time you
Oh, for
screamed that
sure.
way.
Yeah.
You just don't shriek at a basketball game.
And it's
No.
especially crazy too because was the game in Toronto?
I don't know where the game was at.
I thought it was in Toronto. Let me double.
It might be, but
it
I mean, she's still
they were
there.
on the road, and they were able to do that. I mean, it's one thing at home if you could orchestrate all that, but to do that on the road and not get kicked out.
To orchestrate all that, hey daughter, scream. That's not that hard to orchestrate.
Yeah, but why has it never happened before?
But I mean, people scream and yell the whole game. I think it's just the thing that's making so much headlines is because it's his daughter,
Yeah.
and she's literally just yelping,
Well,
she's screeching.
And the other thing is, I guess you can tell that it's at home because outside of that,
It's quiet.
The crowd gets quiet, to help the players concentrate, but not her, which makes it all the more effective too.
Yeah,
so.
if it was at home, like if it was a home game, you wouldn't be able to hear because everyone would be yelling. But since it's on the road and there's not very many Bulls fans there from Chicago, then it's so much quieter when they're shooting free throws, so you can hear her screaming.
Well, she's going to have so much pressure now because the Bulls will be like, are you coming tonight? Are you ready?
What if she
Here's some
loses her voice?
I'm surprised she didn't last night.
I mean, you do have to give her credit though. It's not just that she was shrieking. She was perfectly timing that shrieking to throw off their shot. That's impressive.
But again, if you were anybody else, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
Yeah, just go ahead and try. See how it goes for you.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
It is food fight time on The Riot. Today, we've got a 1-2 punch of Pop-Tarts. They put out 2 new flavors recently. One is their banana bread variety. That's the newest Pop-Tart flavor. And then also, they put out their Apple Jacks, their first ever cereal collab with Apple Jacks cereal. So we have both of those that we're going to get to.
So are we going to talk about what the controversy is, though, before we try them?
Sure. Yeah, we noticed that the integrity of the Pop-Tarts seems compromised.
Well, they're smaller. They have to be smaller. Like,
Yeah.
these things are
When you
not-
say smaller, you mean thinner, right?
I think thin.
I think thinner, and I think even a tiny, just like shape-wise smaller. But you especially notice it with the Apple Jacks Pop-Tart that it is so thin that it just breaks apart.
Maybe we're just getting bigger.
Did you mess up toasting it? I mean, I don't think you would.
Right when I opened up the package, the Pop-Tarts, the Apple Jacks one was like falling apart.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's super thin, but the banana bread one looks a little bit better.
All right. So which one do we want to try first? We all got ours toasted, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Which one's first?
You want to do banana bread?
Yeah, let's do that one first.
Sure.
I warmed that one up first.
Do we
so
like
it's
normal
getting
banana
colder.
bread, or is that?
I think it's okay.
Yeah, banana bread's pretty good.
I like banana bread pudding.
Oh,
Banana bread.
Interesting.
even better.
Okay.
This totally smells amazing.
It definitely does.
Banana bread. Oh, wow. That really tastes like banana bread.
It does.
Oh, Watson, what do you mean? He's shaking his head.
I mean, it's not horrible.
You don't like it?
I just like actual banana way more than banana flavor.
Is it too artificial?
I think at first I didn't like it as much, but the aftertaste is pretty good. Mm-hmm. As it sits in my mouth longer, I don't mind it. It does have hints of the banana Laffy Taffy.
Yeah.
It kind of sits in there.
Oh, now that you say that almost ruins it.
I know it
Yeah,
does a little bit, huh?
doesn't it?
It is a little too artificial.
Yeah, I really don't think, it's not horrible, but I really don't think I would ever choose that. If you gave me a whole smorgasbord of Pop-Tarts, I wouldn't be going with that ever again.
But I tell you, if that was a candle.
Yeah, it wasn't awful. I like it better than the old, the strawberry one.
Yeah.
For sure. I think it needs a little, you know what would be better is if I had a little more icing, and I think if it was a little bit warmer.
Or if you broke it up and put it in like oatmeal or something.
Yeah. I
oh.
think hints of it isn't bad at all.
Yeah, it's not bad.
What if you ate it and maybe we should do this with the Apple Jacks one. You crushed it up and ate it as cereal.
You just
We'll let
threw it
you
in
do
milk.
that, all right? All right, so the other one then is the Pop-Tarts Apple Jacks, and Hudson mentioned that this is the first cereal collab that Pop-Tarts have done. And it is super thin, and it breaks
I'm
apart.
afraid to hold it up. You can see the fissures forming within the
Breakage? Yeah, you lift it up and it just breaks apart. Does that taste like Apple Jacks? What do you think?
It's been so long since I had Apple Jacks.
Yeah. Again, it's very much like a aftertaste more of a Apple Jacks, but
Cinnamon is strong.
where's that the banana bread still lingering? Well,
I don't know if that tastes like Apple Jacks or not. It doesn't really have a strong,
take another bite, but
I'm
make sure
thinking cinnamony.
it's not on your teeth that has the banana bread stuff. So eat it on the other side and have a bigger bite of the Apple Jacks.
Frosted apple cinnamon flavor.
It's very cinnamony.
I mean, it's kind of good.
Meh.
There it is. Listen, it breaks apart. They're smaller. They're thinner. We don't know what to do.
I'm not sure which one I even prefer.
Yeah, out of the two.
It's weird. I don't think it actually tastes that different from the brown sugar cinnamon one.
Yeah.
which I like. I like the brown sugar. That's one of the top tier Pop-Tarts. So
Well,
I
you
guess
wanna-
that's pretty good as far as Pop-Tarts go.
You want to rank them? What do you think?
I'd definitely rather eat the Apple Jacks one. I'd give that on a, like, my Pop-Tart rating scale would be different from my rating scale overall because I would probably never buy Pop-Tarts. They're not good for you. They're expensive for what they are. They're not that filling.
Boy, you're not fun at all.
Geez, so
No,
why don't you rank it?
sorry.
Why don't you rank it on Pop-Tart scale? That way
Yeah.
people can decide if
That's
they do
right.
like Pop-Tarts.
If you like Pop-Tarts, the Apple Jacks one is probably a 4.5.
Oh,
Wow,
that's
that's
high.
incredible
Because
rating.
it tastes really similar to the brown sugar cinnamon one, and that's one of the top tier Pop-Tarts. The banana bread one is like on the Pop-Tart scale is like a 2.5.
2.5?
I guess. There's definitely been worse Pop-Tarts, but it's not really enjoyable.
I think I'll give it a 2.5 for both of them. But I kind of like the banana bread more, but they're both just, I don't know. It doesn't feel like spot
Is that
on.
the Pop-Tart rating scale or just the overall rating scale?
Overall rating scale.
Yeah, I think I also prefer the banana one a little bit more. Just because the Apple Jacks one, it didn't have like super strong flavors for me. I could see it being similar to like the cinnamon one just because it's very cinnamony, but it's kind of like a different kind of cinnamon that just it wasn't quite hitting it for me. Where the banana bread one was a little bit different and it wasn't bad, so I'm down with mixing it up with that
But
one.
a very strong, you're right, banana
Laffy Taffy.
That's
Which
really
is
in there.
unfortunate.
But
to
for the
me.
people that like that, I'm sure you would love this
You're going to
Pop-Tart.
enjoy it.
Can we
All
say
right.
too? These would definitely be better if we had milk with them.
Oh yeah, of course.
Pop-Tarts and
Always,
milk, yeah.
anything in breakfast with milk is better.
I don't know how long these will last, but RadioU staff, the boxes are going in the break room. So whoever wants to take them, more than welcome to.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
It's been a huge week for Nintendo. Obviously, the Super Mario Brothers movie coming out and making millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars has been great.
I feel like they're probably very excited about how that turned out for them and just kind of reigniting more Mario stuff.
That's right. It's not just going to be good for movies going forward for Nintendo movies, but probably for gaming for them as well. It's just going to
it'd
be a
be-
nice boost.
Be nice to have a new Mario game, but whatever.
They should have planned that out, shouldn't they?
Oh, I know they should have had a new game to go with the movie release.
That would have been great. I'm sure they've got something coming. But not only that, but also now Nintendo has a song that is going to be added in to the National Recording Registry at the Library of Congress. And no, it's not Bowser singing the Peaches song. As great as that is, maybe one day. That was the best part of the movie for sure. But it is the Mario theme song.
So, like, for the-
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah, the one that you hear for all the games.
Yep, that.
Dun 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 dun.
Even Nikki's singing it on
I
the show.
got it.
That is the first ever video game music that is being added in to the National Recording Registry at the Library of Congress. So it's going to now be preserved forever.
So in the Library of Congress, every so often you hear about things just going into it.
Yeah.
So it's something that's more iconic.
Mm-hmm.
And the 25 recordings representing some of the defining sounds of our history and culture were being added to the National Recording Registry, and Mario Brothers was it.
It is a wild. I found the full list of all 25 things being added in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wild combo of stuff. You've got obviously the Nintendo music, but you've also the Mario music. You've also got Margaritaville
Oh, gosh.
is being preserved forever.
Oh, All I Want for Christmas Is You.
All I Want for Christmas Is You is going to be in there. Imagine Stairway to Heaven just now. That's wild. That some of these are like, okay, I understand if it took a while. How often do they do this? They got to do it pretty frequently.
I don't know.
And some of these that you would think of were like the defining songs of their time from like the 70s, and they're only just now making it. And then there's a bunch of songs from like the 40s and 50s and even 1908 is getting in there. So
What was in 1908?
the very first mariachi recordings by Quartetto Coculans.
All right. Well,
we'll
there
have
you
to
go.
listen to those.
24 songs or sounds inducted into the National Recording Registry.
Here's a good one. Take Me Home Country Roads.
Was added in?
That's added in.
Sometimes when you hear the list, you're like, that's what they chose?
Song's got a resurgence though. It's huge now, especially overseas for some reason.
It's just a big song. We blame TikTok on everything.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
I want to get your thoughts on this. We have a woman in San Diego, California. She got married. Her name is Elise Wynn. She got married in February, but she did something a little unique. You know, we keep hearing about ChatGPT. You know what she used ChatGPT for?
For something with her wedding?
Uh-huh.
What did she do?
She asked it to help her write her wedding vows.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She basically, it sounds to me like she had the ChatGPT lay out the framework for her wedding vows. She added a few things in herself, and then she kind of had ChatGPT then again go back over it, it sounds like, and kind of improve it from there.
Double check it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you're supposed to write your own wedding vows.
Some people do that. It's pretty common. I know my brother and his now wife definitely wrote their wedding vows. They were very unique, but that's.
Isaiah, do you feel like that was some sort of insult? Like, it definitely seemed like they wrote them.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna think.
No,
I mean, they for sure wrote their own.
I know that they
obvious.
wrote them. I am
So
positive.
if you don't write them, I have no idea about weddings. If you don't write them, who's writing them?
No, I think there's just like a general set of them that most
People just use. They're like, here's the template.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just read those.
It's like the to have and to hold thing, pretty
Yeah.
much, or whatever. Like that.
sickness and in health.
Yeah.
That.
Like when they're that's wild. I thought that they wrote those things on the little piece of paper that they were reading off of.
No, most I think are already it's just written. It's just done.
There's a standard. I'm sure there's a few variations, but there's like the standard wedding vows. But it's pretty. I mean, I think it's pretty common for a lot of people to write your own wedding vows because that makes it much more personal to you. Which is why using ChatGPT to do it for you seems really like, why even write your own? Just use one of the standards.
It's helpful. Or like, say you were doing a best man or like a maid of honor speech. That'd be great if you had to do a speech for something.
But I think then it loses the whole point of that is supposed to be personal, though.
Close enough. It's close enough. It literally is good enough.
I've known this guy all my life, and that's why I'm his best man. And so I asked somebody else to write a speech about him.
Some people just
I
are
asked
not-
an AI to write a speech about
But
him.
maybe not everybody's great at writing, and you just need,
That's for
again,
sure.
GPT is good for like framework stuff.
Well, Elise has a master's degree from Kansas as I look at her LinkedIn profile, so you would think that she'd be able to conjure something up.
You would
Did you
think.
really look up her LinkedIn?
I mean, she has a pretty unique name. It was pretty easy to find, and this one's in San
So
Diego.
you're saying she could have done better?
I think that she could have probably conjured something up herself.
You would think. But what was her master's in?
She's a financial something now.
So not English.
Not, I mean,
Yeah.
but still, if you're getting a master's in something, you'd think that you'd have a little bit of writing in your background.
You might think that.
And
I
if
guess.
not, if you were
Don't you have to
her-
write a whole thesis or something
You
to get
would
a
think.
master's degree?
If you were one of her professors and you're hearing this story, maybe you
Yeah,
should go back and
that's
see, like,
right.
how is she doing all of her work?
What else did ChatGPT do for us? So, I don't know. I just think that there's some things that for this AI, like, yeah, it's helpful, but there's just some things that are meant to be personal that are supposed to come from your heart. And you know what ChatGPT doesn't have?
A
yet?
heart?
A heart.
Well, they're working on it. They're
Yeah,
trying to
that's
improve
right.
every day.
No, because a heart makes you weak.
I like how there's another part of it that says it helped her when she was in a pinch to draft her vows. Like, if this
Did you
was
not
flipped
know
around,
the wedding was coming up?
this is what's wild, is if this was flipped around and this was the guy who was like, oh, he was in a pinch, he waited to the last second, everyone would be pissed. But since it's the bride,
Right.
everyone's like, well, she was busy
She was stressed.
planning the whole thing.
Very stressed.
And then the vows just came late. But yeah, in a pinch, I guess.
It's just
Didn't know it was coming up.
Just a helpful tool, but yeah, if it was the guy, I'd be like, he doesn't love her at all.
He doesn't even care about her. Are you joking?
He doesn't have a heart either.
He doesn't even deserve her. This
They would
girl.
have told her to not marry him.
Yep.
While Isaiah is wishing for a girlfriend, Nikki and Hudson are just wishing for any friend at all. The Riot. Radio U.
We've got a Jake Paul update for you. Fresh off of his loss against Tommy Fury, he's scheduled his next fight, and it will not be a rematch against Tommy Fury. That's not yet. Instead, you're going to get to see Jake Paul. He's going to be fighting former UFC superstar Nate Diaz.
Former fighter.
Yeah.
What's to say with that?
Like a real UFC fighter. I guess
Okay.
he's fought other guys, I think, before that did UFC.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's fought anyone that was as successful as Nate Diaz, though.
It seems like every YouTuber who's moved into a fighting career, they always fight former.
Right.
Never actual,
never
yeah.
actual current ones. I don't know if because you have to be like in the UFC if you want to fight each other, but it's always people that have moved on.
And he always seems to do too, because this is going to be a boxing match, but he's fighting a UFC guy. He's not fighting a true boxer. So this is coming up. That's going to be in August. It's going to be August 6th, where this fight is going to be on DAZN and pay-per-view, and you'll be able to watch that. So,
and it's going to be in Dallas.
Boom.
Yay!
What do we think about this one?
I don't know. There's a lot of famous now influencers who fight, and I think I'm confusing all of them.
You're mixing them all together.
I'm mixing them all together because it's like, oh, wait, didn't someone just have a fight? And that was a big thing there.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
But I know, I think they fight better than we probably think they do. Like, they're built.
Yeah, and like Jake Paul, he opens as a huge favorite against Nate Diaz. So, there's a lot of times people think that, like, the original fighters like Nate Diaz should be the favorite because they fought before. But this time, the Vegas and all the odds have Jake Paul, easily winning this one.
So I'm sorry, you said Nate Diaz was a boxer more?
No, he is a UFC fighter.
But they're boxing.
Like, he beat Conor McGregor, but they're going to be doing boxing. So that does potentially put him at a disadvantage. It's not what he's used to, but you have to have some boxing talent to be able to do UFC. So I don't know how it's going to go. Obviously, Jake Paul, the big favorite. Do you guys think, too, that actual boxers that have worked their whole life must be so upset right now?
Oh, they're probably annoyed that these get better, maybe ratings and more money for it. So,
the money,
I'm sure.
Definitely the money. They have to be thinking, I've worked so hard. I'm like undefeated, or I've got a lot of potential or whatever, had a lot of success. And they're probably still making a lot of money, too. There's a lot of money in boxing. But not making anywhere near as much as Jake Paul, who just picked it up one day.
You're a great boxer, amazing, but you get to open for them.
Yeah, exactly.
You're undercard.
You're the undercard for Jake Paul. You're like, this guy's been boxing for like a year and a half, and he's making 3 times as much money as me.
You know what's really sad is, like, there's probably guys going through now that's like, if I can just retire from UFC, I can fight Jake Paul and make some actual money.
Well, the fight's going to be 10 rounds, contested at 185 pounds. So is that what they have to weigh in at?
Yeah, that's what they have to weigh.
Okay.
And that's coming up in August, and that's going to be a DAZN thing. Did I say August 6th? It's August 5th.
August 5th.
My brother's birthday. A fun little celebration with Jake Paul.
Well, do you want to offer, like, maybe you and him go to Dallas? You can go watch the fight.
That sounds like a lot going on.
And then you can pay for all of that for your brother's birthday?
I think we'll just go somewhere that maybe has already bought the fight, like maybe B-Dubs or something if we want to watch it.
I was going to say, don't take him to Texas Roadhouse again.
Maybe OTR if it's going to be in Dallas. We might as well. Yeah, get the saddle out. But for me, I think Jake Paul's going to win. That's my grand gesture.
That's an early pick.
It is, but I think he came off of a loss, and the only reason that they had him lose, because I don't think these are super legit, is so that he can kind of be an underdog, even though he's not an underdog against Nate Diaz, and he can come back and make his little statement.
And Nate Diaz is just happy to get another paycheck.
To be booked for it. Jake Paul said he's more focused than ever. His team wanted him to take an easy fight, but that's not how he's built.
Okay.
Thanks, Hudson.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
I've got here.
But what a way to find out if I did.
I've got a reason. Yeah, that's right. I've got a reason why you might want to do it, though. Have you ever had Omaha steaks?
Yeah.
They're pretty good, aren't they?
Not bad.
That's what I hear. I don't know if I've had them or not.
We sometimes would get them when we would do like cookouts during the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah?
So that would usually be them.
Like a big treat.
Yeah. And then we realized, like, we can get other hot dogs. So we stopped.
Yeah, probably for a lot cheaper, too.
Sure.
Well, Omaha Steaks is got a promotion going on. They are offering to give one lucky person a lifetime supply of burgers if you volunteer to get a tattoo on your butt. But it can't just be any tattoo. It's got to be a full-size burger tattoo. it's got to take up like your whole cheek, the entire cheek.
And it does have to have the Omaha Steaks logo?
I don't think so.
It's just putting a hamburger?
It's just a big hamburger on your butt, and you can't just go. This is the other thing too. Don't just go to your local tattoo place and say, put a burger tattoo on my butt.
Yeah.
You have to volunteer to do this, and then they're going to choose a person to get the tattoo that will also, and they are going to fly you out. They're going to give you the tattoo, I think, for free as well. And then whoever gets that tattoo from their special tattoo artist, Steve Butcher, then you'll also get the free Omaha Steaks burgers for the rest of your life.
So it seems like they're also promoting the type of tattoo. It's a hyper-realistic burger tattoo.
Yeah.
So you'll get flown out to Southern California. The tattoo has to be a cheeseburger with all the stuff on it, like all the fixings they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you get. And then what do they figure? Because whenever you get hamburgers for life or something, it's always like, well, you get 2 per week because that's all you should be having.
Right.
So, like, what is their amount you would actually end up getting of Omaha Steaks?
Let me see. Let me see if I can figure that out. They probably don't make it very obvious, do they?
Maybe not.
Where it just sounds like you're going to get free burgers for life, but it's not so simple. I don't know that. I also don't know if it's like, you know more about tattoos than I do. How long do you think that tattoo would take to do? It feels like that's very intricate.
Well, it depends
and
on
sizable, depending on the size of your butt.
Everybody's butt's different, so I bet you it does vary. But I would think maybe 6 to 8 hours,
That's
maybe 1 or 2
time.
sessions.
I mean, for free Omaha Steaks for the rest of your life, though.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've seen worse, in my opinion, worse tattoo
Offerings.
for free stuff promotions, because the tattoos are more ridiculous looking and they are in a more obvious spot. If you're definitely for a guy where you're not wearing like bikinis or anything, like you could get away with hardly anybody seeing this unless you really trusted them.
But it's kind of odd that it has to be a full half of your bottom because they're probably going to do a lot of social media with this. And if you've never gotten a tattoo, even if it's been in a more visible place, you have to sometimes be slightly embarrassed because of how they have to get the tattoo done and exposing and all that stuff. And so, like, you'd have to sit there with half your butt out while they're tattooing it while somebody's doing an Instagram live with it. Like, I feel like that's even more weird.
Yeah, definitely. But
that's
it's
a
a
no
lot that
for
goes
you?
into it.
No for you?
Yeah, I don't have a tattoo. I don't know if I want this to be my first one.
Could be your only one.
Yeah, but at least I could keep it hidden from mostly everyone.
I mean, hamburgers there for a while is expensive.
Yeah.
So what would you do?
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
This is a wild story. A teacher in Florida has been arrested for allegedly organizing and running a fight club at her middle school.
Oh, no.
With her students.
Oh, no. So the students were fighting?
She was getting the students to fight.
Oh, no.
And she, had it all organized and everything. She was
At
the
least she's
mastermind of it all.
organized.
That's right. That's organizing middle school students. Can you believe it?
I mean,
that's difficult.
For some other places, they'd be lucky and looking for people who would be so organized.
Yeah, it's pretty wild what she was able to get away with for a while. But of course, even despite her rules being 30 seconds, no screaming, no phones, no hair pulling, phones somehow entered the equation. Videos were taken. And so evidence started to mount against
they
this
found
woman. A school resource officer heard about it. And so that was the end of that. So she's now been arrested, and she could face up to a year in prison for each of the counts that she's going to face here.
Oh, gosh.
So it could add up to quite a bit.
Isaiah, have you ever seen Fight Club?
I've seen the movie, yeah.
Okay.
Good movie.
I mean, it's an older movie at this point. So
I think it came out in 99.
A part of you is like, wow, people are still doing this.
In middle school now.
Yeah, well, it's the teachers. I mean, they're still setting it up. So
actually, the teacher's only 23. She wasn't even born when Fight Club came out.
Why would she do that?
Yeah.
Was she making money somehow?
That's what I didn't figure out is where does this idea come from? Where it sounds like it was just her and all the students, But did she think this up, or were like some of the students kind of getting it started, and she's like, I can capitalize on this? That's what I don't know. I don't know if they've gotten to that point yet, because she was just arrested and fired, I think. So this is all kind of new, but it's pretty wild. It's just wild stuff.
So they were pre-planned. They were endorsed by the teacher. She would be there, and she would ask students if they wanted to run it back. So have a fight, and she'll be arraigned on May 4th.
You know, you'd think that she would be charging for entry. She isn't even making money off of this. Like, what kind of a fight club is this? You would think she would for sure charge the other middle schoolers to watch.
It's pure entertainment.
You'd maybe charge if other teachers, like what you want to do is you and the teachers would be fighting, and then there probably wouldn't be any charges. It's just because it's the students.
I don't know. Something tells me that might be illegal too.
I don't know.
Especially on like school time, when you're on the clock.
Yeah.
Did either of you guys ever get into a fight?
What?
Sounds like Nikki got into a fight.
No, a scuffle.
A scuffle?
We young ladies, we scuffle.
Did
There
you
was hair
win?
pulling.
Did you win?
She didn't win.
No!
She didn't win.
I don't even think it was. It wasn't even a winning sort of situation.
Listen, there was no winner.
Yeah,
There was no winner.
but nothing's so organized. Again, very impressed about the organized part.
Yeah,
I know.
right.
It's very impressive.
So you never got into a fight?
I've never gotten into a fight, no.
How do you think you would fare?
Depends
Not
who my
now.
opponent is. If it's
Not
someone like
now.
you, very well.
Middle school.
In middle school, I would have get my butt kicked.
Oh, yeah?
I was so tiny, I would have gotten destroyed.
Well, all they
Unless
were
he
doing-
was tinier than me.
All they were doing was 30 seconds. So, like, it's 30
Yeah.
seconds. Again, no screaming, no yelling, no phones.
Maybe it's like riding a bull, though, where you think 30 seconds, that's not that long.
Oh, but
if
it's
you
harder.
you get
You
some
get
kind
the
of...
wrong matchup, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden 30 seconds is a long time.
Yeah, because that's what I think. I was like, 30 seconds, I could last against Mike Tyson for 30 seconds, but yeah, I don't think so.
He would need 3 seconds to knock us out.
Right.
Let's save this idea for the next fall fundraiser.
Oh,
for the
that's a good
Fight
idea.
Club. We can make some money off that. It's just you two fighting.
Perfect. Don't we get Nene involved? Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Who do you think would win at RadioU melee?
Nikki.
And if I had Eric fill in for me.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, we're not allowed to swap out.
You can't. It's not tag team.
Yeah, she's like, all right away. Eric, get in here. Let me tap me in.
I need you to fight for me.
You've made it all the way to the end of the Worst of the Riot. This show only exists because of support from listeners like you. Find out more and help out at radiou.com/donate.